One of the problems pretty much every Bethesda game after Oblivion had is proper city representation. Settlements in Fallout games can kinda be excused here, since it's a post-apocalyptic world and humankind has a tough time surviving. But even then, having only 2 actual settlements and one of those with a population count of around 20 seems ridiculous even in that scenario. In Starfield we actually got a little improvement, and even if there are still only a handful of bigger settlements, some do give the impression of actual cities, thanks to the random crowds, wide open spaces and tall buildings. However, all those cities still lack certain key components that would make them believable. This is why in this episode we will concentrate on making our cities look and feel like actual big and functional cities. In the update 1.13.61, Bethesda added vehicles, or more like a vehicle, just one. You are literally the only person in the whole galaxy with a functioning car. And why is that actually? Sure, it probably would be hard to add enemies with vehicles because of proper gameplay balancing and all, but why not just give at least decorational vehicles to the security personnel in New Atlantis, for example? Well, that's because there is one important detail absolutely missing. There are no roads. And this is why the mod Galactic Highway Network was created. This mod brings real functioning roads to big cities like New Atlantis, Aquila and Sidonia. Roads that you can actually use to get around the city. Sure, it might not be as fast as just fast traveling, but it is immersive and actually kinda fun. It also makes the cities look way cooler and more industrial as well. The ones in Aquila are not very big and they do blend into off-road roads, however the ones in New Atlantis, for example, are really impressive. They go around the whole city and feature things like parking lots and even fully functioning elevators. Impressive as this mod may already be, right now it is still kind of in a beta state, so the only one who will be using those roads right now are you alone. However, in the future the author plans on integrating actual traffic and many other cool things, so this mod will have an even more significant impact on cities' liveliness. Another mod that can absolutely change the visual aspects of cities is Expanded Cities. And seriously, this mod blew my mind quite hard. It's one thing just looking at the screenshots and completely another actually seeing it in-game. Now this mod is unfortunately incompatible with the Highway Network mod because it adds buildings literally everywhere. The new buildings are also purely visual and don't have any interiors. Nevertheless, the experience is simply amazing. The first time I saw the New Atlantis, the first thing that came to mind was actually Coruscant. With all the hover landing pads and huge displays, this sure looks futuristic as quark. Also, so far only New Atlantis and Neon have received this upgrade. While New Atlantis gives a vibe of a really futuristic city, Neon on the other hand gave me some serious cyberpunk goosebumps. I mean, it may look a bit ridiculous if you zoom out all the way, but it is still very cool. Well, one way or another, this mod introduces some really interesting work, and we will watch its career with great interest. Another important aspect of cities is, as already mentioned, the random crowd NPCs, and that is why the next mod is Souls of Cities. This is a complete overhaul of the crowd system. Similar to the mod Better Crowd Citizens from episode 12, this one here removes all those abominations Bethesda has put out on the streets and replaces them by actual humanoid-looking NPCs. But while Battleground Citizens was kinda in a beta state, where we had some clipping with clothes and hairstyles, Souls of Cities offers a way more seamless experience. It also has way more features than Battleground Citizens. The first thing you will notice is that, unlike with Battleground Citizens, the NPCs will wear a variety of different outfits selected from playable items, and not those grotesque, clownish looking things Bethesda has put on them by default. Sure, some outfits may seem out of place, place at times, but hey, let's just say those are cosplayers or something, or hardcore fashion fanatics, I don't know. Anyway, the outfits will also be fully animated with working physics and everything, just like on any real character. Same goes for the movement animations, the facial animations, and even the variety of voices they can have. So the crowds will have all the visual aspects of real NPCs. And this is not all. Another thing you will definitely notice is that they are no longer nobodies. They will actually have names now. Of course, it's not like this makes them real NPCs. The names are randomly generated, just like their looks. So technically you could encounter people with the same name and different faces, which wouldn't be a problem really, since this is a thing that can happen in real life too. Oh my god, this is even more immersive than I thought. Is this Starfield or is this real life? I don't know anymore. Okay, but jokes aside, another really cool mod that adds tons of randomly generated realism is the Grindfield from the GRiNDTerra mod series. This is actually a series of mods aimed to bring immersion and realism into the game, coming fully with its own framework. We might take a closer look at more of those mods in the future, but for now let's just concentrate on Grindfield. You know how when you land on a randomly generated landing zone on a random planet, the procedurally generated points of interests and other things you can come across are usually very generic. It's often really just some wind turbines, for example, standing in the middle of nowhere, producing energy for Todd knows what. But with this mod, if you land on the exactly the same spot or the exactly the same planet, you will encounter way more buildings and other assets bundled together. Literally whole outposts at times, or research stations with hostile or non-hostile NPCs, robots and so on. This mod really does a good job of randomizing the assets you can run into on generated planets. It also adds a good portion of realism into the mixture by increasing the possibility of running into human outposts on fitting planets, while also removing them from planets with a hostile environment, like Inferno, Deep Freeze or Heavy Corrosion, for example. So overall, this mod does a very logical improvement to the randomly generated content and makes exploration more fun. Anyway, this is all I've got for you this time. The links to all mods are as always in the description below. Don't forget to hit all the buttons. Like, comment and subscribe. Share the video with your friends and loved ones. Send it as a Christmas present. I'm just kidding, don't. Give your loved ones an actual Christmas present. And Merry Christmas if you should watch this on the 24th.